It's noon, it's Friday, and we're live on Facebook again today. It's great to talk to you today. And as you can see by our title out there today, my sales sucks. Wow, what a strong statement that is. But what we want to do today is we want to talk about three massive mistakes that even you brilliant business owners out there make that keep you frustrated about sales. How many of you said in the middle of the day when business is not growing and you're frustrated, my sales suck? We've all been there, haven't we? How many have been woken in the middle of the night with this issue and not been able to go to sleep because you're up and you're wondering what is going on with my sales process? How many of you are constantly thinking about this when you need to be focused on other issues in your organization? I'm Coach Manny Nowak, and I help organizations build processes to get this out of the way and to get rolling and to get their sales increased and build the product. Strategy, tactics, and accountability. And I've been doing this successfully for a lot of years. And as I always tell people, what you need is when someone's teaching you something, you need to make sure that they're always still doing that as well. It's good to have you all on the broadcast today. Thanks for joining me. I hope I can pump you up enough to keep you rolling. All right, the question, and I always like to throw out a question to the audience. So the question for the audience today is, do you find yourself in that quiet time saying, my sales sucks? If you do, you're probably on the right broadcast here today. So please share this broadcast across your zone of friends if you have other people who you feel might be interested. And, so today we are going to talk about sales, how my sales sucks, and we are going to talk about the three big mistakes that are made on a consistent basis. And so remember, as I said in the beginning, if you're frustrated in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, or when you hit those quiet times because your sales just is not hitting the window that you're looking for, then you're at the right place today. And so let's get started. So I'm going to cover 3 points today about this. And the first reason that a lot of sales processes that I've run out there and have seen time and time again, the number one reason is salespeople doing what technology or administrative people should be doing and not what salespeople should be doing. In other words, what should a salesperson be doing? They should be selling, which means that salespeople should be out on the road or hooked up to the phone, excuse me, trying to close deals, not doing marketing, because marketing, excuse me, most marketing can be automated. If you have a good email or CRM product, let the product do what it was designed to do, from automated campaigns to a process that when you meet a new contact, it goes automatically into a process. And unless there's an exception or somebody clicks on somewhere or somebody wants to connect with you, you just keep going out there and you keep trying to sell instead of doing all that follow-up work. Salespeople need leads. So technology today gives you tremendous ways to generate business. Salespeople need leads, and the more leads that you send to your salespeople, the better. And I know some of you out there will say, well, they should be generating their own leads. They should be generating their own leads, but you, as an organization, have a whole marketing process. You should be generating leads from them as well, because they need to be on the phone and making and out there with appointments. The other part is how much of the automation of proposals and contracts are you doing? So I was looking at some new systems, which I'll probably talk about on the podcast in the next few weeks. Basically, tools that can automatically help you get the proposal done and out and get the contract done and out. And the final thing here is automation of apps. There are so many apps out there. I'm a big proponent of this app called Todoist, which really I run my whole process by that app, and it has helped me to save tremendous time. Second of all, I'm an Infusionsoft user on the CRM side, and I'm also using the app they have. So those are things that are going to make your sales process so much better. So I want you out there to start working with those tools. And that's one of the ways you're going to, one of the things that, again, one of the things we have is people doing stuff that technology can do. The second point we talk about is when organizations hire the wrong people and not cutting them before they should. But even before that, I'm going to back you up. Before you hire, how many of you out there really make your prospects go through testing? And I know that we all think we're really good at finding the right salespeople. I know we think we're experts in hiring the right salespeople. And what happens? They don't work out. And I've been there myself. And there's a lot of good tests today. And if you need a good test process, just email me, PM me, get a hold of me, and I'll show you some ways that you can really some tools out there that will help you. This is amazing because there's stuff you just don't see. And I know what happens. And I can tell the story there. I love this rep. I want to hire them. This rep's going to rock the world. And they don't do it. And so many times I go back to the realization and we find out that if we'd have just given them a test, we would have found out this, that, or the other things that keeps them from being effective. Great reps are usually not out of work. Now, sometimes they are, but if people are out of work, let's test them. I'm highly, if you don't do anything else with your reps and your process, make sure you test them before you hire them. If they're going to make calls. In other words, if you're hiring reps and a big part of their job is getting on the phone, if they're not willing to sit down and show you how they can do that, and they're not willing to spend an hour on the phone showing you how they can do that, I'm not sure they can. And I know some people will argue that point with me, but I want to tell you something. If you can work on the phone, then show me. And I don't want to see that you can't do it after I hire you. Why are we so afraid to put prospective reps through the process before we hire them? First of all, if you're a small company out there and 5 or less employees, everybody in the organization needs to talk to a prospective rep. If you're under 20 people, at least 5 people. And even if you're a bigger organization, 5 to 6 people should be talking, key players should be talking to that rep and making sure that you all agree. I always put a process in to say that these are the 5 people that are going to check new reps. And if all 5 don't agree, we don't hire. And next, I want to talk about expectations. And hiring the wrong reps is because so many times what happens is the rep has one set of expectations and you have another. And so to get the best clarity is let's write their expectations and yours. Let's get it on a piece of paper before we hire, and let's go through that process and say, this is what I expect. I expect you to be in the office early. I expect you to hang out late. I expect you to follow up with all proposals that day. I expect you to return all phone calls every day. Little stuff like that. Let's define it up front. You'd be amazed at what happens. And sometimes people just won't take the job because they're not going to do that. But it sure is great if you can learn that up front. I spend a lot of time working with my clients in this area alone. Let's define the expectation. And then finally, of course, don't hesitate. Don't stay up nights. Don't go on months and weeks and months and without termination. You know what? The rep's not working. You can tell whether a salesperson's working. Are they hitting the numbers? Maybe you didn't have the right process in place, and we'll get that in a minute. But they're not working out. You gotta cut the strings. That's just the way it goes. All right, let's get to point number 3, because point number 3 is people don't have a sales process. And this happens so many times, especially if you're just, up to this point, you and a couple of the other key players in the company have been doing all the business development, and you have to go outside. And so you guys and gals know what you've been doing, but now you're going out there and you're hiring somebody, and they just don't know what they're doing, and they burn you. So you have to be careful. So you have to have a process, and the process has to have a few points, and I'll go over these today. And if you want them, they're going to be out on the blog probably Monday, if not before. So here's some points. Who are you going after? Make sure your reps understand this is our target. I don't care about all the people you know. I don't care what you used to do. These are our target markets, and I want you going after them. Don't be afraid to say that. Say it in the interview. These are the targets we go after. If they're not in this industry and they walk through the door, we'll take them. But we're not putting our dollars in going after them. Second of all, what's the products? You may have 20 products, but you lead with these 3. And these are the ones that open the door. And these are the ones that make it happen. Let the new reps know that. The process needs to contain that. How do you generate leads? If I start, if I walk in, I say, well, this is what I'm used to doing. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't tell me to do something, or you don't tell me this is how we do it, or this is how we've been effective. So you need to make sure your process says these are the 5 top ways we generate leads. These are the secondary. That's what we do. That's how we operate. We don't want you going outside of that, because that is the process we're working with right now. I think I got a freeze point there. Did I freeze? All right. How do you qualify a lead? What defines a qualified lead? If you're hiring reps, and I'm going to tell you, I highly recommend hiring reps out of another industry. And people think I'm crazy, but people in a certain industry, if you're looking for a job because it's not working, chances are you haven't been able to sell it. Look for reps who have been successful but want to get into something different, who have all those skills and know how to sell. So how do you qualify a lead? Presentation. Do you have a formal presentation? Do we just put anything together? Do we use PowerPoints? Do we do it face-to-face? How do we do it? How do we generate a proposal? I should, as a rep working for you, have a total boilerplate that I just fill in the blanks based on what I learned and go back now and be able to do a presentation. How do you want to handle the proposals? I'm a high believer that I don't ever send a proposal out unless I go out with it, because I don't think I can close the deal. If I send out the proposal, but without going out there, then it's probably one of those situations where I'm not really sure we're going to get this deal anyway, but I'll put the proposal together. But how do you operate? I mean, one is good, neither one's bad, but how do you want your sales reps to operate? What kind of sales material? How do you expect them to use that material? What is the expectation? The follow-up process. Now, certain industries have certain follow-up processes. I'm a big believer in the technology industry that when I meet you, I put you in an automated follow-up process. And if you jump into that, you start clicking stuff, you start looking at stuff, then I get an automatic notice that you've done that, then I call you. Isn't that what we said in step one, right? Automation makes the process work. CRM, we got to have a CRM. You have to have a system. And as a company, you need to protect yourself. Everything in there, it has to, if I have a good CRM, and let me tell you, as a salesperson and as someone who directs salespeople all the time, salespeople don't want to fill out CRM. They don't want to do it. And I'm telling you, I know that's true. But a CRM protects the company as much as a sales rep, because you can actually go into the CRM and see who they've been calling, what they've been doing, and how their success rate is. Must have. But, and this is a very critical point, the CRM has to be easy, simple, and fast. And you see these little phones here, right here on your phone? Well, let me tell you something. You should be able to do most of the work from this device. I will tell you that. And if your CRM doesn't have that capability, then maybe you need to be looking at some other tools. How you touch each one of these processes, how you want the sales rep to work with them, how you expect this thing to fit together, you need to define all that. If you do these three things, I'm going to guarantee you that your sales process will work so much better. So much better. And just to recap, for you today, make sure you use technology every place and any place you can. And if you got salespeople who just don't want to deal with it, I'm not sure in today's world that's acceptable. Number two, give them some testing. And number three, have a process that they can follow and when you can measure. Wow. And that's what I want you to do today. Hey, how about that? How's that been? I hope we've got a good crowd on here today. Thank you guys and gals all for being here. I hope this helps improve your process. Today, we're going to offer you, it's the last day of we kind of stretched it out a couple of days, our entrepreneur toolbox, which is really the Coach Manny Inner Circle. It's a way for you to join this group. We just did a private training this morning at 8 o'clock. It was an early one on what we call 90 Days to Success, because one of the things that we're pushing, and you're going to see it on our noon broadcast in the next few weeks, is I'm into this 90 Days to Success. Instead of looking at the whole year, let's look at 90 days at a shot. But what the Entrepreneur Toolbox is, and you may have heard it called the Inner Circle as well, is a group of people. It costs you $29 a month to belong. You get, well, right now, if you come aboard, you do automatically get our Double Your Sales course, which alone is worth $1,000. With this group, you get access free to all the new tools we put out. So what I want to share with you is that it's $29 a month. The rest of today, it is going up to $49 tomorrow. So go out to coachmanny.com and click on the Inner Circle and sign up today. It's well worth it. And remember, right now that group's still small. We're giving some free one-on-one time. So if one-on-one time is something that might work for you, get in. Come on, let's get rocking here. Hey, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I love doing these Facebook Live sessions. And please note that what we do here today is always available on our podcast, usually by the following Monday. This is available out on YouTube. We try to put it everywhere we can. And if you have any questions, PM me, email me, just get a hold of me. Let's get that sales process of yours rocking out there. This is a coach saying, I'm having a blast. How about you? Enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you next Friday at noon.